So hello, I thought I'm going to show you a few things around Emacs and org mode. I just yesterday finished the org mode assignment for all the courses, and this video shows how to do this exercise. And along the way, I'm going to introduce a bunch of little things and tips and tricks. And what I suggest is that, as always, you open your own computer and try to follow along as I go. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually open a little whiteboard, and I've already started my first assignment, self-assignment here, namely to open Emacs. Opening Emacs, different ways to do this. I'm just going to show a few. You can open a command terminal if you like. So command prompt in Windows. I'm going to show this in Windows. In Mac OS, you would have to use a terminal. So go search for terminal, command prompt. So this is the shell in Windows, and you can just type Emacs here if you like. That's one possibility. And Emacs opens. And when you close this shell, you can actually hide the shell if you like, but as soon as you close the shell, Emacs itself will also disappear, because the shell is a process that opens the other process and runs it. So what I have done is, at the bottom of the screen, you probably see this, I have marked put Emacs here in the taskbar, and I usually open it from here, but the same thing happens that you saw before. There's a shell here, you don't see anything in it, but you cannot close it. If you close it, Emacs disappears, so don't do that. I open it and I simply hide the shell and move the Emacs window over to the right hand side. I'm not going to disappear here and say goodbye, because you don't need to see me really while I do this work. So open Emacs, we've done this. In my case, you probably only see the bottom part of the screen, this stuff here. You won't see the top, and the reason is that the top is my to-do file, including things that I meant to do last year. So I'm just going to close this. This actually is an org file. So as you can see here in the mini buffer, it says todo.org. These are my to-dos. And just explaining the mini buffer here, here's one window, number one. Here's another window, number two. You see this is Unicode. That's the particular way in which Emacs creates the display. This file is Git controlled. That's the version control system that GitHub uses as well. It's an org file, and there's the so-called fill mode. And here you see the number of lines and columns where my cursor currently is. So if you watch this number, you can see that I'm in line number 7, but if I move to the next headline, I'm suddenly in line number 350. The reason, of course, is that there is a bunch of stuff here hidden in my org file with these headlines. But we're going to get into that in a moment. Now, as I said, I have a to-do list here, and I just opened the to-do list. You don't need to remember those keys, because I just use the to-dos, click A, and you see my agenda here. And you can see the agenda for today. These are the things that I mean to do in the course of today. But I'm going to go back to the startup screen, because this is very likely what you're going to see. Now we've opened Emacs, and the next thing we want to do in the next video is to get to the place, to the working directory, where we're actually going to solve the exercise.